Hello, so in this lesson we're going to be looking again at finding the mean in a frequency table. We're going to be using a slightly more formal method when we've got just bigger numbers, and making a list wouldn't be very easy to do. So first job though is the surface area of these cuboids. To calculate them, obviously pause while you're working on them, and we'll come back and mark your own. Welcome back. So there we go, there's the answers. Okay, so just recapping what I just said, a more formal method of calculating mean from a frequency table. So let's have a look at our first example. So this is looking at how many times people had school dinners last week. We can remember when we used to have school dinners. So this lesson is about calculating the mean from a frequency table. But this time we're going to look at the more formal method when we've got bigger numbers, and writing a list really wouldn't be very helpful really. I'm going to start with the finding the surface area of these two cuboids though. So just calculate them while you're working on them. Obviously pause, and then we will come back and mark our own. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the answers. Okay, so just reiterating what I said a little while ago, we're looking at a more formal method of calculating the mean. So side heading examples. So what we're going to need to do when we're looking at these is, if we look at these people having school dinners last week, no people had it no times, 8 people had school dinners once, and so on. If you think I would have had to draw, if I was writing this out in a list, I'd have had to draw 1 out 8 times, 2 out 12 times, 3, 6 times. Okay, obviously it'd be very time consuming and easy to make a mistake. So what we do in this case is, you're going to have to excuse me because my table is not going to be very tidy, is we add some extra bits to the table that we've been given. Okay, so first job is we find out the total frequency. So that tells us how many people in this case were asked. So we've got our calculator, I'm going to add up 8 and 12 and 6 and 4 and 2, and I've got 32 here. Okay, and then we've got a new column here. We call this our N times F column. And all we do is we multiply the number in our first column by the frequency F in the second column. So 0 times 0 is obviously 0. So we got 8 people had 1 school dinner last week. So that represents 8 dinners. So 2 times 12, 24. 3 times 6, 18. 4 times 4, 16. And then 5 times 2 is 10. And then we add up this column now. So I've got 8 plus 24 plus 18 plus 14 oops, not 14, 16 plus 10. So we've got 76 here. So that tells us there were 76 meals in total, eaten by 32 people. So we want to find the mean. We've got 76 divided by 32. Okay, so I've got 2 decimal places. I've got 2.4 meals. So I can't really have 2.4 of them. You either had school dinners or you didn't. So we would say the average person had school meals about twice last week. So we're looking at people drinking coffee now. Okay, again, got big numbers here, so the list would be just unworkable. So our first job is to add our extra bits to the table. Obviously, you would normally put these lines in, but it's not that easy with writing on the board like this. So just trying to keep it a bit neater. So my first job, going to add up my frequency column. So I've got 39 here. And then I'm going to do my n times f column. So 0 times 5 is 0. 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 4, 2 times 7, sorry, is 14. 3 times 10 is 30. 4 times 5, 20. 5 times 2 is 10. And 6 times 1 is 6. So we need to add up those numbers now. So this number represents the people who drank the cups of coffee, 39 people. And this column here represents the number of cups of coffee that were actually drunk. So we've got 9 plus 14 plus 30 plus 20 plus 10 plus 6 equals, so we've got 89 here. So our mean number of cups of coffee that people drank is 89 divided by 39. Right, so I've got 2 decimal places. I've got 2.3. So on average, people had 2 cups. Let's have a look at another example. So these are albums that got released last month and how many tracks on each album. Just the same thing again. Adding our bits on. That's really untidy, that one, isn't it? So first job, we're going to add all these up. So I can see we've got 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 So we've got 10 here. And then we'll fit in the n times f column. So we've got 11 times 1, 11. Just get rid of that. So 11 times 1 is 11. 12 times 3 is 36. 13 times 0 is 0. 14 times 2 is 28. And then 50 times 4 is 60. I have to think about that for a moment. Right, we're just going to add those up now. So I've got 11 plus 36 plus 28 plus 60. So I've got 135. Yeah, so my mean is 135 divided by 10. Obviously, I don't need my calculator for that. I can see that is 3.5. So approximately 14 tracks per album. Okay, so here's our main task now. So there's our first 3. There's another slide of questions, another 2 questions, and then a third slide of a challenge question. So if you want to just pause at the appropriate times. Okay, welcome back. Let's have a look at our answers. So just mark in your own there. So if you notice for questions 1 and 3, I gave an approximate answer because obviously you can't have a fraction of a pet or a goal. The others, though, obviously you can have a fraction of an hour. Okay, and just have a look at the challenge question. Well done if you got this right. Okay, so just going to look at our checking question now. So we've got 34 teachers being asked how many takeaways they have a month. So we're going to add our bits in here. Right, don't really need to add those up because I've got 34 there, so I already know that adds up to 34. I'll do my n times f. So I've got 0 times 3 is 0, 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 12, 24, 3 times 6, 18, 4 times 4, 16, and then 5 times 3, 15. So let's add those up. So I've got 6 and 24 and 18, 16 and 15. That comes to 79.